Does what Josh Allen just said there, Peter, make you any more confident that he could go #1 overall?
I'm so grateful that Josh Allen finally shot this argument down. It's been 3 months of hearing about the accuracy. Guys, do you know what Josh Allen had surrounding him at Wyoming? In the last 5 years, 5 players have been drafted to the NFL from the University of Wyoming. None of them were day 1 picks. In the last 5 years, there have been 22 USC Trojans, 25 UCLA Bruins, 25 Oklahoma Sooners. It is ludicrous to expect Josh Allen to have the same completion percentage as some of these other guys when the talent he is throwing to is not Juju Smith-Schuster. It is not Dede Westbrook. It is guys at Wyoming who have not been drafted. So I look at all this, and you think about yards after the catch. I'm watching USC. Darnold's throwing screen passes to Ronald Jones. He goes 80 yards. You know what that counts for? That counts for 80 yards for Sam Darnold. Sure. Josh Allen is out there on 1 foot, back leg, throwing 60-yard bombs to guys who will not be playing in the NFL, and they're dropping them, and they're not catching them. And there's a totally different set of standards for these quarterbacks and Josh Allen based on the stuff surrounding him. So is there accuracy issues? If you look straight at the numbers, you say yes, but he's playing in 30-degree weather in the rain in Wyoming, throwing it to a bunch of Jimmys and Johns, when Sam Darnold is playing in 80-degree weather, throwing to Juju Smith-Schuster, Ronald Jones, you name the future pro talent. It is unfair to grade Josh Allen's accuracy in a vacuum. You have to look at the entire thing. Right. And it is ludicrous that he is being knocked for his accuracy when what he did was basically throw an entire school, forget offense, on his shoulders and lead them to an 8-3 record. The 2 games they lost last year, he didn't play in.
All right, you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Peter, there's an easy counter to this, though, Nate. This is why it's impossible to figure out. You're saying he didn't have the talent to throw to. He's also going against the secondaries of Texas State. Gardner Webb. So he doesn't have Oklahoma and Ohio State secondaries back there. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is why the snake is eating the tail. I watched the 60 Minutes last night.
Tell me.
There's this kid from MIT talking to Scott Pelley. He invented a way, I'm not kidding, to Google things with your brain. Like, he has the internet in his head, and he's going to change the whole world. This is last night in 60 Minutes. That kid has no idea what to make of Josh Allen. He cannot figure out the accuracy thing. I know this. We did a Making the Case last week. I talked about some of the most accurate college quarterbacks in history. Colt McCoy, Colt Brennan, Graham Harrell, and Kellen Moore. Those guys are nice guys. They ain't going to Canton.
Chase Holbrook.
They can complete a lot of passes. So I don't know the answer to this.
So you're not all in on the accuracy. It's not like a scarlet letter, a big eye that Josh Allen.
No, there is not a big inaccurate on his chest. No, but there is a big old Winchester right here in his shoulder, though. Okay. No, I do not think it's going to just sink him. I do not. But I could be wrong. The MIT kid doesn't know.
No, he doesn't.
I'm not here to tear down any young talent, especially a guy like this who's most likely going to have a phenomenal pro career. But you just said that he's throwing to a bunch of Jimmys and Johns. Yeah. Now, first of all, I'm okay with the Jimmy John's. Matter of fact, I love Jimmy John's. And speaking of sandwiches, you know what the sandwich is? It's the bread on top, which is how big he is.
Okay.
It's the big arm on bottom, right? We keep talking about how he can deliver the rock. You know what the meat of that sandwich is? His inaccuracy. All right, so take a bite of that. Here's the thing. We're going to continue to talk about all these things that we fall in love with and the potential of what it is. Now, I went to Nevada, Reno in 2003. Yeah. We were, for what it's worth, the Wyoming of our conference. And we weren't a big school. So the guys that I played with, maybe so. It was Nate's, Jimmy's, and John's, and they were talented. So it's not just him throwing out the guys that should be enrolled at University of Phoenix or DeVry. These are actual wide receivers. And the same type of talent he has at wide receivers, like KB said, is the same type of talent he's seeing at defense. So you tell me why he's 50% in accuracy. That doesn't make sense. So
don't come at a wide receiver about accuracy as quarterback.
Listen,
make some plays.
And this isn't to tear him down. This is just to bring validation to both sides. Potential through the roof. Arm sides, I love it. But they have to address the accuracy. You know what? The first thing they're going to do and pay attention to, and when they get ready for their mini camps, is light him up. They're going to bring blitzes, bring different coverages, and he's going to be able to test that arm, that intelligence, that football IQ up against what the speed of the NFL brings.
Who did Wentz throw to in college?
Okay, that's a good point.
And did he have any
Wentz was in a different conference. He was in 1AA.
Let me sprinkle something in. Dan Orlovsky, the former NFL quarterback, great on Twitter, really gets into the minutia of quarterbacking. His point is this. He says, this guy gets compared to all these smaller program quarterbacks, all right? But all those guys dominated. Wentz, Roethlisberger, Flacco, Steve McNair, they were Michael Jordan in their leagues. They won. They could not be stopped. Josh Allen was not that dominant. He just had that big of an arm. So if he couldn't dominate then, how's he going to dominate the league? I don't know, okay?
Just eating that inaccuracy sandwich that Nate's talking about. Great points, Nate, all around.